Dwyane Wade has joined the Chicago Sky ownership group, helping forge maybe a new path for the Chicago Sky as the franchise is still trying to find their footing after James Wade left from both the coach and the GM role. Chicago Sky are also on a 4-game losing streak, and we're going to talk about how they can get out of this losing streak and still make the playoffs. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host here, Haize. You guys can follow me right off the top at CEO Haize. That's CEO Haize on every social media platform we happen to be on. But with that being said, you can also follow the Chicago Sky Central at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we're on. But let's get into the content for today. So first up, something that we missed over our break, which this should be the last extended break that I take. I do apologize, guys, that I've been kind of out and in. Started off the season really dropping every time a game dropped and dropping 2 and 3 episodes during the week. It's definitely fallen off, and we will get back to giving you that consistent and being probably the most, the Sky outlet that posts the most. We'll be getting that back with you guys here shortly, sooner rather than later. But in the time that we've been out, Dwyane Wade has joined the Chicago Sky ownership group. It was initially speculated that he may do something like that. A few days later, it got made official, and he said this in posting it to Instagram. It's an incredible feeling being on this side of history. To see growth on the business side for something that I've been passionate about my whole life is an amazing feeling. There are amazing things happening in the WNBA. It's official. This is for the home team, literally, Skytown at Chicago Sky. So, having a hometown kid join the ownership, and somebody who's going to be a NBA Hall of Famer, right, who's won titles at their level, join the ownership group. And, it really is similar to Tom Brady joining the ownership group of another team as well. And so, having the cachet that comes with Dwyane Wade's name, hopefully the doors that opens up as well. And as we are really going forth into a new era of the WNBA, right? When you look at some of the, collegiate stars that are coming on and how Aaliyah Boston's really come on hard, and, she's going to be the rookie of the year for sure. We'll talk about her a little bit when we go around the WNBA at the end of the show. But, overall, it's just that, him joining the ownership group is good for the game. It's good for the Chicago Sky, and we'll see what comes next. Now, hopefully what stops coming for the Chicago Sky is losses. The Chicago Sky, after winning 3 in a row, have lost their last 4 games and lost their first game coming out of the All-Star break as well. And so we had 2 losses to Atlanta. We had a loss to the Sun, a loss to the Mercury. And so it's just been a hard go for the Chicago Sky. And a big part of what's been playing really into that is fourth quarters. The Chicago Sky have gotten outscored in fourth quarters of games basically the whole month of July. And so that's going to definitely have to be something that they're going to have to try to correct and right that ship if they do want to still make the playoffs. Like right now, the Chicago Sky would be the 8th seed, so they would sneak into the playoffs. And we still are looking at other players getting healthy. Yes, we still have those issues and injuries out there, but overall, the Sky we've had some bright spots, and we're going to talk about some of those bright spots as well. But overall, like that fourth quarter scoring, the defense at times, right? Those are things that the Chicago Sky really need to double down on and try to figure out a way to be more consistent in those areas so that they can win more games. It's just what it is, right? The Sky have not played the best. They have not played the worst either. There've been, even in some of their losses, there've been flashes. The Chicago Sky showing that they can push back in certain cases, things like that. But right now, we're the second to last ranked offense in the WNBA. That is not going to cut it at all, and that's not how we started off the season. We're not efficient like we were at one point in time anymore. Nothing like that. We are 4th from the bottom as far as ranked defense, so we're in the bottom of the half of the league in both offense and defense, and we still have the 8th seed, but the Sky got to figure it out. We got about half the season left to go, and if the Sky can pull it together, they can definitely still make the playoffs. And, coming into the season, a lot of people would have suggested and said that the Sky didn't really have a chance to make the WNBA playoffs this upcoming year, but they got to improve. They got to work on the intangibles. We're second in the league in blocks. You got to double down on things like that. That's basically because Elizabeth Williams is just so damn good at her job and what she does, but we definitely need to tighten up. I think we started off the season top 5 in the WNBA as far as field goal shooting percentage. Right now, we're 8th in the WNBA in overall field goal percentage, and not much better when it comes to 3-point shooting percentage either. we have absolute things that we need to improve on drastically. We're going to be a team that can get into the playoffs. And so some of the things that have been working, right? What are some of the things that we can double down on and zero in on as we hopefully make this run for the WNBA playoffs? First up is Aaliyah Copper has been everything that we could ask her to be moving into the number one a player on this team. When you look at it, she's 5th in the league in usage rate, with that being 27.6. That's her career high if she finishes off the season like that. She's also averaging a career high in points per game at 19.6 over the last 8 games. Listen, Aaliyah Copper is doing what she needs to do. We need to better support her, and I think that it's not really an indication on it being a problem with Ka being the number one. She does need more help, but it is what it is. You look at what she's been doing three-point shooting, averaging the most three-point attempts per game and hitting it at a 41.9% clip. That's excellent. You look at Marina Mabry, who came in to be the running mate for her. She's also taking a career-high 3.7 three-pointers per game and hitting that at a 36% clip as well. And she's averaging the highest points per game of her career and really benefiting from the added, just role that she has on this team, averaging 14.9 points per game. There are some positives with the Chicago Sky team. It's not all bad, but they're going to have to double down. They're going to have to dig in. They're going to have to figure it out if they want to try to right this ship as we move forward towards the WNBA playoffs. They just have to. It's not an if, and, or but. We're going to have to be better in fourth quarters. We're going to have to execute better defensively. We're going to have to play better as a team, and we're going to have to get more players to step up and help support Marina Mabry and Aaliyah Copper as they're playing pretty damn good, right? And they're not the only ones. We got some players playing pretty well. Morgan Birch and Elena Smith have kind of dropped down the last few games after they both really started off the season looking really good. I think they're going to come back the extended break and help them absolutely. But when you look at Elena Smith leading the team in rebounds per game at 6.5, you got Courtney Williams leading the team at 6 assists per game. Also, Elena Smith leading the team in steals at 1.3 per game. We have players that are performing within their roles. We also have players that are playing much higher roles than what was expected when they signed with the team, absolutely. But we have players that have been stepping up, playing pretty well, and we just got to improve it. We have to improve it. We got half the season left to go. If the Sky can dig in and just play much better on the back half of this, it doesn't seem like we got Ruthie Hibbert, who was cleared. We still got Rebecca Gardner out. Isabel Harrison is both out. They're going to be out for a while, right? You're not looking at probably either one of them returning maybe at all this season. So the Chicago Sky are going to have to figure out how to get and continue, play better. They're 8-13 on the season, 21 games. We got 19 games left this season. That's 19 opportunities that the Chicago Sky have to get it right? To improve in the things that are measurable. And do those things, and you look at it. We play tomorrow against the Seattle Storm. That's not anything to overlook. We then play again against the Aces, who have been rocking the whole entire WNBA right now. And then we play the Storm again. We play the Mercury. We got 2 games against the Wings, both in Dallas. This team needs to figure it out, and they have to do it on this stretch. The rest of July doesn't get easier. And when you look at the start of August, it's not going to get any easier for the team either. This team has to dig in and figure it the hell out if they're going to still make the playoffs. I still have hope that they can sneak in the playoffs. How successful they're going to be in that playoff run, that's a different story. We'll talk about that in another day, but we'll be back. We'll be locked in, back with our post-game shows tomorrow after the game, so make sure you guys are tuned in for that as well. But before we go, you guys know I like to go around the W, and we just got one thing that I want to talk about. Aaliyah Boston is absolutely going to be the Rookie of the Year, and she is killing it right now in what she's doing. You look at her splits. 15 points per game, 8.4 rebounds, 2.3 assists. When she's on the court, the Fever have a 105 offensive rating. When she's not, it drops to 88.6. She is absolutely showing that she's going to be a dominant force in the WNBA for years and years and years to come. And I, for one, am glad that I've gotten to see it. Aaliyah Boston is rocking. And yeah, I wish we had a player like that here on the Chicago Sky rocking that we can say is the future of the team, but she is the future and the potential face of the WNBA as we move towards this next phase of women's basketball. And so, I'm really excited for her. I'm really excited about the performance she's had. I just wanted to take some time out. The All-Star weekend as well. I still say that the WNBA has some work to do on marketing their All-Star weekend. It was a fun experience, especially for those that actually love the WNBA, but overall, it's just the marketability of it needs to be improved. how you market your stars needs to be improved. And I think overall kind of promoting that weekend a little bit better can't do anything but help the WNBA as well. But hey, that's my thoughts as we went really quickly around the W. We'll be back to our regular schedule this upcoming week. Thank you guys so much for continuing following and supporting. I've got the messages, the emails from some of you guys asking, where is Chicago Sky Central at? Well, we back. So that's my time for today. Make sure you're following the show at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, we share one with Chicago Bulls Central, 773-270-2799. And I'll see you guys the next time we go to Skytown. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.